Hello everyone, welcome to WGBS TV Live, brought to you by SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. In this, our May 10th, 2021 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including what's happening with the new Superman movie, Zack Snyder's thoughts on what he would have done with the Man of Steel sequel. We're going to be talking the latest Supergirl episode, upcoming Superman and Lois episodes, comic books, your favourite audiobooks, and so much more. We're also going to turn to you to ask your questions and comments on any particular Superman topic you would like to discuss. And to let you know how all that works and how you can get involved in tonight's show, let me introduce you to my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
Doing well, and yourself?
I can't complain. It's been a pretty ordinary week. We haven't had any exciting news, but stuff has happened, so it's kind of right there in the middle.
Yes, exactly. So how do people get involved in tonight's show?
Oh, yeah, I have to do that, don't I? Anyways, everybody watching us live right now on YouTube is here because they're Superman fans. Why else would you be watching something called WGBS Live? Anyways, about halfway through the show, we sometimes take callers. This doesn't happen very often, mainly because we usually just start talking and get really wrapped up in what we're talking about. But if we do take callers, this is how it works. One, you're going to need Skype. Go to Skype, find Superman homepage, and message us that you'd like to be on the show. Now, a couple of things. One, message us. Don't just kind of call in because that can screw things up. You see right here at the beginning of the show how tenuous this whole thing is. Also, if you're watching WGBS Live and using an external speaker, please mute that because we are on a bit of a delay and that can screw things up.
Yes, indeed. And for those who are tuning in live via YouTube, we invite you to join in the comments there. Post your comments, ask questions. Michael and I will react to them as the show goes on. And if you would like your comment or question featured live on the show, feel free to post a super chat. What you do, there's a little dollar symbol there. You click on that, a slider will appear. You choose the amount that you're willing to donate, and we will feature your comment or question on the screen below us right here on radio WGBS TV Live. Nearly said radio KAL. Thank you to our sponsors and patrons, John Patrick Van Pelt, Tina Murray, and Douglas Meacham. Thank you for your continued support. And if you'd like to support the website and our show, head to patreon.com/Superman homepage or click the join button below there right on YouTube. Well, Michael, it's been a tenuous start to the show. We've had a few hiccups, but as always, we push on and it's a never-ending battle. So let's continue with tonight's topics. Thanks for everyone who found the new feed. Apologise for that. I will be posting it on our website shortly. But this week there was, according to Hollywood Reporter, news that supposedly the upcoming Superman movie that J.J. Abrams is producing with Ta-Nehisi Coates writing, they're not going with Val Zod. They're not going with anything else other than a black Kal-El, which still technically could be Calvin Ellis.
Yeah, I mean, everything is just so up in the air right now. There has been no casting. Most of the coverage that we've been seeing is kind of, guesstimating or going off of what the suits and everybody have kind of said thus far. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to play this one really close to the vest because, unfortunately, we live in an era where when you change the ethnicity of a character, people on Twitter just freaking lose their minds. And things get really racist really quick. Even those who aren't necessarily racist get caught up in the maelstrom of the racists coming in. So, we've talked about this so many times over the years that it's a little weird. Not weird that they're considering it, but weird that it's actually happening because it always seemed to be one of those things that
Sky
was always well, what if? And now it seems more this might be happening. So I say, as I always say, that if they're going to do it, and it's going to be like a traditional Superman, where it's Clark Kent, and Daily Planet, and but we're just changing the ethnicity of the person. You got to commit to that, and you got to explore the ramifications of that. because it just would be a completely different set of circumstances.
Exactly. And people losing their heads over, I was going to say something else, over this topic is understandable. And again, I don't think it's necessarily a racist thing when people have a problem with this, because Superman fans have a problem with the S being too small, the color of the cape, whether or not his hair is parted on the right side, Lois Lane's hair color. It's whether or not the image that they have in their mind matches what Warner Brothers is offering on the screen. That is where I think a lot of fans are having an issue with this. I don't think it's a race thing. I think this is not the Superman that I want, because it's not the Superman that matches the version that I see in my head.
Yeah, and I hope I wasn't seeming like, if you have a problem with it, I think you're racist. No. That's not what I was suggesting at all, which is why I was trying to kind of dovetail it that the people who aren't racist are going to get caught up in it anyways, because it just tends to happen. But you're absolutely right. Superman's a very unique case because unlike Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four, when Michael B. Jordan was oddly enough, Michael B. Jordan was cast as Johnny Storm, that there was like a tumult of people like having problems with it, but I don't think enough people had like an image of who Johnny Storm was in their head.
Yes.
They were just, it was just the people that are more traditionalists anyways. Superman's a very unique case. He's an icon. He has been a part of the zeitgeist for 80 years.
Yep.
And now they're trying something really radical with that in changing the ethnicity of the character. And some people might argue, well, they've already cast somebody who's mixed race with Dean Cain, but that's not the same. It really isn't.
No.
I think it's bold. I was really actually thinking about it this week. What does this mean for me as a Superman fan? And to me, it doesn't really change anything at this point in my fandom, because Superman has gone through so many different iterations over the past 10 years anyways, that this seems like, this to me is preferable than them doing like an Injustice movie where Superman's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
It's like this is like the least thing that could come along to make me go, no, it's just like, okay, let's see what you got.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, this is not the Superman that ideally I would like to see, because it, as other people said, it's shifting away from the source material in many ways, because you change the color of and ethnicity of the character and you raise him in Kansas, it changes the whole dynamic of his upbringing. So you are changing the story already just because of that. I don't have an issue with picking an actor of any race or color or height or whatever. Obviously, there's got to be a particular look to Superman, and you can't pick a 3'4" midget who and pass him off as Clark Kent. It's not going to work that way. Just like you can't pick. We had that issue of, was Jenny Olsen, or we thought that she in Superman, in Man of Steel, was she replacing Jimmy? It's just like that. There's all these things that go on with casting a person in the particular role of a character who has so much history and has a particular look. So it's not again, not a racism thing for me. It's more of picking a person who matches what the character looks like in the zeitgeist, as you said. People have a particular idea of Superman looks like this, he's this height, he's this color hair, he has this color eyes, etc. And you can move away from that. I'm not saying you can't, but if you are going to pass it off as a Clark Kent, Kal-El Superman, and you're going to change a massive element of that character, then be prepared to get a lot of backlash, because not for this ethnicity, but because you are changing what has made the character who he is for 80 plus years.
Yeah, I mean, it's a definite gamble, but I think we're at a point where you either have to do it or don't do it.
Mm.
Um, I
And
had a
you,
friend on Facebook the other day like throw up two African American actors, and it's like, how would you like these people as Superman and Lex Luthor? And I'm like, they'd be fine. I mean, I don't know much about the one guy, but the other guy plays a great villain. So why not go for it? I'm just not looking forward to how the internet is going to internet about this. I guess is the best way to say that.
so true. So well, look, we wait and see exactly where that goes. Where we don't know if that's exactly true, what they're doing there, that it will be a Kal-El. But we wait and see. And to kind of throw fuel on the fire today, Zack Snyder was interviewed and shared his thoughts on what he would have done with a Man of Steel sequel. Now, many people say, well, we've got two sequels already. We've got Batman v Superman and we've got Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League, whichever one you want to throw in there. Yes, we did. They are continuations of where Man of Steel left off. But I think when people say a Man of Steel sequel, they mean a standalone Superman movie with Henry Cavill following on from those films, from the stories that have been told, and seeing where he is as a character now in his own film. And Zack Snyder said that there was talk about a Brainiac movie. He says obviously the Kryptonians are still in the Phantom Zone. Faora and the other guys who were left after Zod was left behind, they were sucked into the Phantom Zone, so they're still somewhere out there. So he would have, obviously Lex is there, but as far as Zack Snyder is concerned, you've got to go the kind of extraterrestrial challenges for Superman because, well, Earth-based challenges don't necessarily push him to his limits like someone like Brainiac would. Your thoughts on that?
What a myopic view of this character. He is so concerned about the physical of Superman.
Yes.
And in rewatching everything, and rewatching Man of Steel and BVS and watching Justice League twice, it's like every time Superman does something, it's like visceral. Like every time he takes off, he takes off and it's really fast. And when he lands, there's cracked ground and all that. And it's just like one of those things where like you're so focused on this one aspect of the character that you're not looking at the fact that some of Superman's villains are kind of fun, and you can actually do like a pre-credit sequence where he's dealing with like Toyman, and you don't have to make Toyman the main thing, but you have him, like dealing with something the Toyman or the Prankster does, and I thought he made Lex a Batman villain, so
Yes.
put him in Arkham, but it's so short-sighted to go, what can he hit to frame as what presents a threat to the character? Not when he's built in, especially to Batman v Superman, like the emotional core of how do you get to him? Well, you start going on TV and having everyone say that he's a danger. Get a villain that does that. I mean, it's like, I'd love to see Brainiac on screen. Now I would never want Zack Snyder to do Brainiac because I'm just afraid of what that would become.
Yeah, I'm with you. And kind of to reinforce what you said, in Man of Steel, when he's going to take off, he has to tell Lois, you might need to back up a little bit more. And because he knows how powerful his takeoffs are, that he's warning her. But yet in the next movie, he's like holding her hand and he's lifting off the ground. I mean, he can take off, without having to be a rocket. He is capable of doing that. So you're right. It's very much a visceral kind of, has to be all action packed and loses somewhat the heart of the character. So I'm going to upset a lot of people here, but I'm not for restoring the Snyderverse.
Yeah, so much time has passed that any momentum the Snyderverse had, Justice League is a small fish in a large pond right now. people who care about it, and some people like who subscribe to HBO Max obviously wanted to watched it, but that's not a larger audience that you're going to get to come in. I think they squandered so much of that that at this point, I mean, you're never going to catch up to Marvel. You just aren't. You're just not going to do that. They're into Phase 4. They have like 15 movies coming out over the next year and a half because they have so much catching up to do. So, but they're organized and they've got their thing down. You wasted most of your time putting all your chips on the Snyder bet, and then you immediately just said, nope, we're not. Once BVS got some pushback, said, nah, we're not quite sure about this, so we're going to bring in Whedon, and then that didn't really work out the way they wanted to, so we're never going to get a sequel to that movie. You're restoring the Snyderverse at this point only appeals to hardcore Snyder fans.
Very true. And we know Ben Affleck is coming back supposedly as the Batman for is it in this? Is he doing this the Flash movie, or is it the Suicide Squad?
There's rumors that he is, but they've just announced that they've started filming the Flash, and the Flashpoint element has been removed. So I don't even know what's going on there anymore.
Yeah, because they're talking about obviously what's his name? Who played Batman in the original movie?
Michael Keaton. Yeah, Michael Keaton's going to be in it. Ben Affleck might be in it.
Yeah.
And if he is, it's going to be probably a scene at the end. It's not going to be like he's a driving force of the movie.
Exactly. And Tom Welling's kind of throwing his hat in the ring, saying, "Hey, if they want me back, I'd do it." I just don't see him.
Yeah, because he's friends with Robert Pattinson. I mean, it's just like for him to say that, that's actually a big thing, because usually he's just like, leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. Back off. Obviously, he needs some work. So we'll wait and see what happens there with the movie side of the DC universe. But a movie did come out recently, an animated movie called Justice Society World War II. And we were kind of staying away from this one because it didn't seem, as far as we knew, to have Superman involved. But Superman from the recent Superman animated movie that was released, it's in the same universe. He's in it. A lot of people aren't necessarily happy with the way Superman's portrayed in this. But the Flash pretty much saves Superman at one point, and in doing so is then sent back in time to the 1940s, where he comes up against the Justice Society, who he had never heard of before. So an interesting animated movie. I haven't seen it yet myself, but we have posted a review up on our website by Michael J. Petty, who gave it a 4 out of 5 rating.
Yeah, I'm waiting for mine to come in. I pre-ordered it from Amazon, and they've been really weird about the like when the physical copy. They're like, it's going to be to you between May 13th and June 1st. And I'm like, that's a large amount of time for you to not know when you're going to send me something.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's available to order on 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray Combo Pack and Blu-ray Combo Pack. The links are up on our website. But here is the cover image for Justice Society World War II. And as you can see from this particular still, Superman is in the animated film, looking and sounding like he does in Superman Man of Tomorrow, because he is voiced again by Darren Criss here.
That's I didn't realize they were going to go that deep. I've heard some people having some problems with Aquaman in this film too.
Okay. So there you have it, Justice Society World War II. It's out now to order, and the physical copies should be sent soon, but you can watch it digitally. All right, let's move into the television side of things, where Supergirl had a recent episode airing on May 4th. It was titled Prom Again. It was the second part of the Back in Time storyline, where Brainy and Nia have gone back to prom night in the 2009?
2009,
yeah,
yes.
Where Kara and her boyfriend and sister Alex are very much involved with what's going on, and so is a young Cat Grant. You gave this episode a 4 out of 5, calling it another solid episode.
Yeah, I mean, and solid in every way. The performances were good. My one problem is that they screwed up, so then they had to go back in time again back in time. But that's how the story was going to go from the beginning. I think it's a cheat because it gives you a chance to do something you know is going to have absolutely no consequences. I did think it was clever that putting Kat back in time and having her be like kind of sent away at that point is what put her on the road to start Catco. So that was kind of clever. I just enjoyed it. There's nothing really that stands out. I thought it was interesting that they're saying that moonlight, which makes sense, since moonlight is just reflected sunlight, can charge up a Kryptonian. I don't know the physics of that, but again, there are no physics to really discuss. I just think she shuffled off that Kryptonite problem a lot easier the second time, but I guess if you know it's coming. But my other problem with the time travel is that when they fixed it, everything just kind of folded back normally, and I'm just like, no, that's cheating.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, we're talking about time travel. None of it can happen. So I think the thing that disappointed me is that for the second week in a row, I was really like enjoying the episode, and I realized it's because there are no phantoms, and we're not dealing with all of that. And next week we're right back in the middle of it.
So a couple of questions here. This was directed by Kyla Lee, who plays Alex Danvers, the older version of Alex. Obviously not being in the episode helps being able to be director. So that was fantastic of her and now David Harewood helms the next episode. So the actors are getting on the other side of the camera. The meteor shower that the Kryptonite came down in, is this the one that brought Clark Kent to Earth? No, Kal-El to Earth. No, it's not. The idea of this shower was that, because Clark's been around way before Kara was even arrived. He's an adult performing as Superman, because as we know, those blue, green, whatever they were, aliens already tried coming up against Superman and failed, so now they're going for the younger version of Kara. This meteor shower was one that had a massive chunk of Kryptonite, and that's the reason they're going back to this year, because they know that they'll be able to get a sample of Kara's DNA once she comes up against that Kryptonite, and there's some blood and some whatever samples that they can acquire to use
to track her.
Yeah, to use it to track her in the Phantom Zone. One of those crazy plot elements.
Yeah.
Why would Kenny Lee lie saying he is a Kryptonian? To save Kara? Yes, definitely to save Kara, so that it's kind of to delay the whole process of them taking Kara, so that they take him instead, and he's sacrificing himself for her. Could you please explain what Nia now was dreaming and how to bring dreams to life? I don't even think the writers can explain how the dreams came to life. It was just a plot device they needed, and they used it. But Nia's powers are one of those things. They are what the story needs them to be.
Yeah, I mean, they're just ambiguous enough that you can do this. She sees a dream image. She's trying to interpret it, and so and in this case, the cat in the cage was Cat. And the cage was Perry White holding her back. And she was able to bring that panther, I think it was, out to, and that's now part of her powers, is that she's able to do that. So she's able to hold back a tidal wave and to bring stuff out. And it's just...
It was a bit weird that Nia was the person who was the catalyst for herself, for what Kat's progression, and to decide that she's going to become, instead of CJ, she's going to start calling herself Kat, and is going to take on the world and quits her job at the Daily Planet. When did that happen in the real timeline, and how is that going to affect the future? Surely that just can't be enough, and that's good for the future to continue on the way it needs to. I'm guessing it's just going to be that way.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It seems to put Nia into kind of an important position in terms of being a reporter, because that seems like something that Kara should do. But maybe it's weird to expect a show called Supergirl to actually feature Supergirl.
Justin's saying, what were the blue beams coming out of Kara? I think it wasn't the blue beams coming out of Kara. I think is when she stepped out of that doorway, it was the moon beams, which is obviously the sun reflecting off the moon, that was powering her up again. So it was beams coming towards her, not coming out of her.
Yeah. So, yeah. Again, that was just like, that's somebody in the writer's room going, isn't moonlight just reflected sunlight? Couldn't that power her up? Sold American.
So when will this season end? By August or even September? Good question. I'm not sure. We know we've got a number of episodes, to come back after when they do return, but it might be a little bit later than September.
Yeah, I mean, when they announced something we're going to talk about in a minute, it seemed like that was coming in the fall, and I'm like, that's a long way out.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see exactly when the date. I think I've got it here. Supergirl returns for its final 13 episodes on Tuesday, August 24th. So if you then calculate 13 episodes starting from August 24th, you're well and truly going into the end of October.
Yeah.
Even a little bit November.
Wow, that's a long way. That is a weird amount of time to make people wait for new episodes.
Well, I guess because we've got Superman and Lois filling in that time slot when it returns next week.
Oh, that's weird. I mean, that's really, really weird. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about having to wait that long, because that seems like, for people who like this show, that seems kind of mean.
Yeah, well, from May 11th to August 24th, June, July, that's 3 months waiting to find out if Kara's going to get out of the Phantom Zone. Yeah,
I mean, we had to. Well, I assume she's going to get out next week, and then the real threat of the season will begin.
Well, let's have a look.
It's not the Phantoms.
No. Well, let's have a look at next week's, tomorrow night's trailer for the episode titled Fear Not, spelled Knot.
Your Earth family must be looking for you. We just have to stay alive long enough for them to find us.
It's gonna be dangerous.
As I try to save me, they're all going to die.
I think we have a problem.
Phantoms?
There's no way out.
So there you have it. There is the promo trailer for Fear Not, the 7th episode of Season 6, and the mid-season finale, if you like.
Mm-hmm. So I guess are they filming all these shows and they're just going to burn through them in August? Because it seems like they're filming now for later. God, everything's really weird right now.
Yeah, it's obviously COVID delays are really stuffing things around for TV networks and for streaming shows and what have you. So we live in a different world as far as television times and schedules are concerned. But the CW released a video interview with Kal-El about being able to take on the directorial role for the first time on Supergirl. Here is what she had to say.
What's happening to me?
I heard okay, well, there's a couple Midvale episodes that we're looking at, a part 1 and a part 2, and we would love for you to direct part 2.
You were amazing today. How you handled those bad guys, how you handled yourself.
the idea of being able to direct a young Kara and a young Alex was something that was just kind of like right to the heart for me to be able to be a part of that journey, just to kind of like origin story. How cool is that? I've learned so much.
How'd you learn how to do that? College.
Like really, really tremendously like pushed me in areas that I had no idea I was capable of. I really genuinely lucked out. It was so much fun.
You want a Kryptonian? You got one.
I'm so excited for everybody to see it.
Geez, you can see just how much covering. They've got masks, they've got face shields. They're just going the whole hog when it comes to the pandemic, precautions.
Yeah, well, it's deadly serious.
100%. So there you have it, Kyla talking about her directorial debut. And we have a new image of a new Guardian coming. Here, have a look at this. So there you have it. That is obviously Kelly Olsen playing Guardian, taking on the role once held by her brother James.
Yeah, and more comic book accurate than the previous one. I think the only problem I have with it is the long hair. I just think that's bad for fighting. I mean, it looks cool, but I saw like these images and I'm like, wow, they're actually like it's a legit Guardian outfit. So of course she's a supporting character. Obviously, she has to become a superhero at some point.
Exactly. Everyone has to get superpowers or superhero abilities at one point or another. Nobody can just be a human helping out. But it's a role that she will take up in the 12th episode of the current season, which will air on September 21st.
Good Lord. That is so far away.
Yeah. So obviously they're doing it now. They're filming it now because she wouldn't be in this getup if it wasn't something that they were currently in the middle of putting together. So yeah, 12th episode called Blind Spots will feature Kelly Olsen as the Guardian. We look forward to that.
Yeah. That's cool.
Justin says, "Wow, Dr. Fate's helmet. Nah, a little bit different." A gold helmet's a gold helmet, I guess, to certain elements. All right, so we will take a quick break now. We're just over the halfway mark of tonight's show. We're going to come back and talk about Superman and Lois returning, and we're also going to do the fan favorite segment, comic books, and so much more. We'll be back right after these messages. Don't go anywhere.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying WGBS TV Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program. Just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by visiting patreon.com/Superman homepage.
Up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman in Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
You can make them fly or jump or crash or walk. Superhero action figures over 7 inches tall.
Each sold separately.
Superman, that Incredible Hulk, you can make them do their thing. Even make Spider-Man slide down a string. Lots of action for one and all. Action figures over 7 inches tall.
These superhero action figures each sold separately. Batman, Superman, Incredible Hulk, and Spider-Man, each sold separately by Mego.
And we're back on WGBS TV Live. The Mego action figures. I always wondered how they got the DC and the Marvel ones to be put in the same ads.
It was just a different time when licenses were a little different. I think Warner Brothers had just purchased DC Comics like in the early to mid 70s. So it was one of those things where it was just money coming in. So they were able to acquire they had DC and Marvel and Star Trek and Planet of the Apes. I mean, the whole 9 yards.
There you go. All right, so we're just over a week away from getting new episodes of Superman and Lois back on our TV screens. May 18th will be the next new episode. It will be taking over the time slot that Supergirl took over the time slot from them. It is... I can't wait for new episodes. And we got another video from another cast member talking about the return of the episodes and the availability of the first 5 to stream on the CW app. Here is Adam Rayner, who plays Morgan Edge, talking about the availability of those episodes. Check it out.
Hi everyone, it's Adam Rayner here from Superman and Lois. It's now 2 weeks until the new episodes air, and I'm certainly looking forward to you all finding out the truth about Morgan Edge. Hope you enjoy. Bye.
The truth about Morgan Edge.
Ooh. Dun dun dun.
We'll wait and see what that is. But yes, quick video update there by Adam Rayner, letting us know May 18th, the return of Superman and Lois. And we did get some new photos for the next new episode. It will be titled Broken Trust, and there were these these images released. Here are some of the photos of Adam Rayner playing Morgan Edge, talking to Kyle and Lana, and obviously we also have Tyler Hoechlin as Superman there with Sam Lane. So Broken Trust is the title of the next episode, coming out May 18th at 9 p.m. on the CW.
Look, I'm looking. I'm ready for the show to be back.
Yeah, me too.
I really am.
I am looking forward to it. And beyond that, we have the description for the 7th episode of Superman and Lois, titled Man of Steel. And it reads, Clark struggles to help Jordan, who is grappling with a new power. Meanwhile, Lois enlists Clark's help, which leads to a surprise encounter. So this episode airs on Tuesday, May 25th.
Yeah. Well, a new power.
For Jordan.
What it could be.
Wait and see what that one is. Maybe it's the X-ray vision thing.
Yes.
Teenage boy, X-ray vision. We saw that on Smallville.
Yeah, I hope they avoid that, because that's creepy now. I mean, it was creepy then, but it's really creepy now.
All right. So beyond that, there was a bit of a spoiler photos kind of hit the internet with Tyler Hoechlin photographed on set wearing this.
Yeah.
Now, is this going to be a flashback back to his early days? Will it be something different because the man in the metal helmet, is that Captain Luthor again, or is it somebody else? Why is Clark wearing this costume?
What it looks like?
What's that?
It looks like the costume that Atom Man was wearing in Superman Smashes the Klan.
It does, very much so.
Yeah, so I was just like, are they gonna like hint at that? And then I got really excited because one, we get to see that costume again. Cowards. But if they're gonna like do some kind of like flashback where he's fighting the Atom Man, I think that'll be just I will lose my mind.
That would be awesome. And for those who are unfamiliar with the Atom Man, it's a classic radio stories from the 1940s radio series. which is probably one of the best arcs of the Superman radio series, in which Superman comes up against a kryptonite-fueled Nazi character called the Atom Man.
Yeah, man, if they could pull that off, they can do anything.
So that would be an awesome thing to see. So wait and see just where this Fleischer-esque costume, Golden Age costume, might be seen once again. And the CW also released a number of character posters for Superman and Lois. These are what we've got. We have Captain Luthor looking very cash. We have also Sam Lane there in his uniform, and we also have the villainous Morgan Edge. So pretty much 3 antagonists, because Sam Lane is kind of on the line as far as whether or not he's a good guy or not, because he's got his own agenda, obviously, and we don't know exactly where that will land. But there we have 3 new character posters, similar to the ones we've seen previously, but I'm really liking these.
Yeah, no, I don't think Sam Lane deserves anything, but I guess he's a character on the show, so they have to bring him in.
All right, let's move into the fan favorite segment of our show. Here's our intro. All right, Michael, what was our fan favorite question from last week?
What is your favorite Superman audiobook? And John P. Van Pelt wrote, one of my favorite audiobooks that I finally got to read was Superman the Unauthorized Biography by Glenn Weldon. This was really good because I originally got this book for my 28th birthday back in 2013.
Yeah, it's a book that you weren't impressed with, but I haven't heard the audio book version. I have read this. It's controversial in places, but and he comes off a little bit snarky in his intro. I guess that's what turned you off.
Yeah, I don't need that in my life right now.
Fair enough. All right.
So maybe I'll pick it up later.
Yep. Thank you to John for sending that in. Next up, we have Robert Lewis. I'm going to read your one, Michael. I've got them out of order here, but I'll go ahead with Robert Lewis. For me, it's Superman, the never-ending battle. James Konachek's performance was spot on. This is how I always think of Superman. The Flash's run, the Kent home, and the Clark and Lois at home are amazing. A good man who always does the right thing. Let me stop. I don't want to get on my soapbox. Not the place, not the time. But thank you, Robert. James Konachek, who we had on as a special guest back in the radio Kal-El days, is an awesome Superman voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you've ever seen him physically, he looks nothing like what you would think he would look like.
Really? Okay.
It's actually really impressive. I saw him on a History Channel thing where he was playing a Nazi. And I just, that's not what I had in my head. But
Wow.
Ryan Ignatius Pratt apparently feels the same way. My favorite Superman audiobook would probably be the graphic audio adaptation of Roger Stern's JLA novel Superman, The Never-Ending Battle. It's been a while since I've listened to the story, but I remember enjoying it very much, which including the individual who voiced Clark. I also hold an appreciation for the BBC's Superman Lives radio drama that adapted the Death and Return storyline from the comics, although I was never a fan of that show's version of Superboy, both in terms of dialogue and voice work. Fun fact, I don't know if they still are, but the Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane from that production were together for a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So a bunch of years ago, a friend actually interviewed Dirk Maggs, and he interviewed like a bunch of the performers from it for his school project. It was kind of cool hearing. When the BBC played those, they played them in small sections, like 5 minutes a day. So, it was like a little 5-minute episode. So what we heard was all of those smashed together.
How long would that have taken?
A long time. I don't know exactly how long.
Wow.
But I know that Nightfall was done like that. I think the Superman ones were done like that as well. And Dirk Maggs is back in the DC universe with the Sandman stuff.
Okay.
So on Audible.
There you go. Before we move on, here is a little audio snippet of James Konachek when he did appear on our show. It's not a visual thing, but take a listen.
This is James Konachek, the voice of Superman. You're listening to KAL Live.
Yeah, that was back in the days when we were called Radio KAL Live. We've now moved to a visual WGBS version of the show, but James's voice is nevertheless very impressive.
The weirdest part of that was that that's basically his speaking voice.
Yes.
So
Wow.
it's just like it's like he didn't really have to put on much airs. It's just like, but we're sitting here talking to Superman. He was such a super nice guy.
Yeah, very nice. So your favorite, Michael?
I love It's Superman, which was written by Tom DeHaven but read by Scott Brick, who would go on to also do the audiobook version of Superman Returns, the novelization, and the Larry Ty book.
Yes.
And I think he brought that book to life in a way that I still haven't listened to the graphic audio version, because it's just like, it's so ingrained in my head. The way he not only reads like Clark, but also all the other characters. And at the end, when Clark becomes Superman, he deepens his voice, and it's this real Clayton Bud Collier vibe to it. And I reached out to him about what feels like 1,000 years ago, but it was probably 2009. To say how much I appreciate it. I found out he's like a huge Superman fan.
Oh, wow.
Like, his house is full of Superman stuff. So apparently those were labors of love for him.
There you go. Fantastic. For me, I absolutely loved the BBC audio dramatizations of, the whole death of Superman, that whole thing, I was just enamored with them. I played them nonstop. I had them on cassette originally, and then CD, and then I digitized them for myself so I could have them on my iPod. They were just awesome. And is it Kirk Maggs who does the voice of Lex Luthor?
William Hootkins.
That's
who
right.
Who was also the very heavy set guy that Lex Luthor is talking to in Superman 4. He was Lieutenant Eckhart in Batman 89.
Wow.
He was Porkins in Star Wars. He's one of the top men. This guy has done like everything. He was in Raiders of the Lost Ark, Flash Gordon. I mean, it's just like amazing. For about 12 years there, he was involved in like every major like nerd thing that came out. So yeah.
Yeah, and his attempt at doing a Lex Luthor Australian accent was all right.
Sorry.
It was all right.
Wasn't bad.
No.
But you also got to look at what he was being given to
Yes,
say.
the material.
I mean, it's just like, so you've listened to the series that happened before that too,
yes,
right?
Yes.
The Adventures of Superman,
yes, that
which
was
is
fantastic.
Excellent.
Yes.
DC has really got to get on the ball about getting this stuff out there, like for mass listening in a streaming service of some kind.
100%. And somebody else has reinforced the idea that we had ages ago about getting guys like Tim Daly or whoever, some of the guys who have voiced Superman to do new podcasts and new, audio dramatizations of, it would just be awesome. But I mean, when they did the DC Fandom and they had some of those people come on and do, reread some of the radio scripts and, lend their voice to being the characters, male, female, whatever, it just... It reignites that passion that I have for the audio dramatizations and radio series. I just think it would be amazing. Anyway, leave it to the powers that be, hopefully to do something along those lines.
Yes, listen to us. We know what we're talking about.
All right, let's look at the comic book side of things where we have new comic books coming out this week. And this is what fans of Superman have to look forward to On the comic book side of reading, we have Challenge of the Super Sons #2. This is the print edition of the collected digital chapters that were previously released on Comixology. That's also available in this variant cover. Also this week we have DC Festival of Heroes, the Asian Superhero Collection, a 100-page giant collecting stories. Why do I mention it? Because obviously there is the new Superman by Jean Lewin Yang, who is part of the Asian superheroes, and there is one variant cover, and here is another of Monkey Prince. Also available this week is Justice League Last Ride #1. This is a mini-series that looks at what is possibly the final days of the Justice League, and by all accounts it is pretty good. This is also available in a variant cover right there. And also out this week, the main one for us is Superman #31, and this also features a backup story of Tales of Metropolis and is available in this really cool variant cover of Superman and his son John flying together. Or on the collected side of things, we have Superman Action Comics Volume 4, Metropolis Burning. Not that that cover would entice you to pick that up. And then on the digital publishing side of things, we have Ruby Justice League Chapter 9 available to download as of tomorrow, if you are a reader of that particular digital series. So, I forgot to mention, thank you, John, for reminding us, the new fan favourite question for this week. Michael, I skipped that entirely. Thank you, John, for reminding me. Our new fan favourite question for this week is, what is your favourite Superman Kryptonite collectible? Now, this could be a statue, an action figure. It could be, some kind of figurine of any kind that features Kryptonite in it. Obviously, it's not Superman's favourite item, but there could be an item in your collection that features Kryptonite that is your favourite. So, what is your favourite Kryptonite collectible? Send us a photo of it, describe it, whatever it might be. Send it in your emails to info@supermanhomepage.com, and we will feature them here when we talk about this topic when we return to the fan favourite segment next week. It's a bit of an obscure one, but you got anything in mind?
It could be fun.
Something that you think you can pull out?
If I can find it, the chunk of kryptonite that's in it sometimes gets lost, and then I just randomly find it again. But yeah, there's one thing that I could do probably. Cool. I don't want to just bring out that little tacky thing that I bought around the time of Man of Steel, where you just press the button and the thing lights up, and it's this little tchotchke that you put on your shelf.
All right, we're gonna do a This Week in History. So here's the intro.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bars of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
All right.
Alrighty. It's a short one this week, folks, but there's an important one. Going to 1961, we have Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, number 26, which apparently has a story the day Superman married Lana Lang, and boy, is she just awful on that cover. Jumping ahead to 1971, we have Superman number 240, which was part of the Kryptonite Nevermore storyline. It's a Superman that apparently just feels like he needs to give up, and there is a World of Krypton backup called The Man Who Cheated Time. The big one, y'all, this Friday, May 14th, is the 30th anniversary of Superman, the Man of Steel, #1, hitting the stands, the 4th ongoing at the time. It has a murderer's row of pencilers and inkers and all that. It was kind of a jam book in that respect. But this was the start of that title with an iconic cover by John Bogdanove. So
in the background.
Yep, not gonna see that again. That is actually the promo poster I have behind my chair right now.
Wow.
Is of that poster. Mm-hmm. So so I could go on about that all night, but I won't. Adventures of Superboy number 18 also came out. This was based on the live action syndicated show at the time, It has him fighting a
Godzilla.
What are those? But they're called something specifically, but I can't think of it right now, so I'm going to move on. Jumping to 2001, Adventures of Superman number 592. I think this is when Mike Wieringo first came on the book.
I loved this cover. I loved his version of Superman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
Very well
he was fantastic. Short-lived, but really, really good. And finally, we're getting close to the end of the DC Universe as we know it in 2011, Superman number 711. It is open 24 hours a day. So this was Superman fighting Livewire. It was actually a good story because by this point, Chris Roberson had taken over. In the real world, it is the birthday. We got 2 birthdays. One of Gerard Christopher, who was born on May 11th in 1959, and on May 13th, Marv Wolfman was born in 1946.
There you have it. So happy birthday to those 2 gentlemen. Kaiju is the word you're looking for?
Kaiju, yes. That is the word I'm looking for.
There you have it. Well, that was This Week in History. Thank you, Michael, for that. And just quickly, if you're an Australian fan, McDonald's have DC Superhero Happy Meal toys available at the moment. You might want to pick up those. They're just quickly, that's what they look like right there. So that's available at the moment. But that is our show for this week. Before we do sign off, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to WGBS TV Live. Thank you to everyone on the YouTube comments there for your participation in the show. And thank you to you, my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey. Thank you, Mike.
Pleasure as always, Steve.
And thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. And if you'd like to support the Superman homepage, then please head to patreon.com/Superman homepage, where you too can be a sponsor for as little as $1. Or you might also like to become a Superman homepage YouTube member. All you have to do is click the join button below. Now, the complete 1-hour video of tonight's show will remain available on our website and our YouTube channel if you'd like to watch it back. Perhaps you missed part of the show. But we'll be back next week on Monday, May 17th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time for another edition of WGBS TV Live. Look forward to talking to you then. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael Bailey. Thanks for watching WGBS TV Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com. Bye.